we have just spent our first night in Greece. The campsite that we were at was absolutely beautiful. The owners have just kind of taken it over like this past winter season, and they're super friendly, super welcoming, and a place that we would highly recommend if you've got any of the ferries over to Greece, as a nice little respite for first thing in the morning or into the evening. We are now headed 2 hours south to Lefkada, where we have both been on holiday with our friend, and then Aidan has also worked near there as well. We'll spend a couple of days in Lefkada before heading east. However, we don't have too much of a plan yet, so we'll just see where we end up. Diesel here looks to be a little bit cheaper than in Italy. We're unsure. There's like lots of different options for diesel, so some places have diesel economy, then diesel like ultimate, which looks like diesel economy is normal diesel and diesel ultimate is like diesel plus. But we've still got 3/4 of a tank, just over 3/4 of a tank, so we'll figure out what happens when we get to our next fuel station.
On Park for night were that the access road was pretty narrow, steep and in bad condition, and it's only for the brave. So we're giving it a go. I don't know if we are brave or just stupid, but so far not too bad.
Got a bit of a warning from a local Greek guy who was saying that because they've had quite a wet winter, that this road's kind of very unsafe for the campers, but there's nowhere to turn around, nowhere to go, so we have to keep going until we get to the bottom. We made it down. The road down was pretty tight, and the way back up is going to be quite technical, so we'll see how we get on when we leave. But there was only one part that was pretty dodgy, but I think if we hug the wall we'll be fine on the way back out. But there were all the reviews on Park for night saying that it was pretty tight and that it was, and the way down was fine. A couple of 3-point turns on the hairpin bends, but on the way back up I think it's going to be a little bit more challenging. But for now, we're here, we're going to enjoy the sunshine, chill for the day. After all that running around on the beach,
Oz was pretty tired, so she said goodnight and we put the drone in the air.
Can we talk now? Maybe this will be a better time after a fallout. I feel what I'm saying will end right, making contact, crossing over stationary lines. Should be a big X in the boxes on the list of ways we've tried. Mean what you say.
We had a really nice sleep in what felt like the middle of nowhere. The next morning we got up and tackled the steep, technical drive up the hill. I wouldn't want to come here in the summer and meet tourists coming the other way. Luckily for us, it was a clear run to the top. For the most part it was fine, there was just a couple sections that we needed to do a 3-point turn. So we've driven past EAZYJ.VANLIFE all the way down to the very end of Lefkada, and we're visiting the lighthouse on the end of the peninsula. We've been here before when we've been on holiday and lived around here, so it's nice to visit it in the van. The roads are super narrow, as they kind of are everywhere in southern Europe. So we've just driven from the bottom of Lefkada and the lighthouse up to EAZYJ, which is a really cool little town. Lots of boats, lots of sailing yachts, and also some waterfalls that we're going to go and check out.
We have just been at EAZYJ waterfalls. It was absolutely beautiful. We are just headed 10 minutes down the road for our park up for the night, or at least to check one out. Yeah, see you guys there.
So we were quite unsure on this spot when we arrived last night, but actually it was pretty chill. There was a couple of people walk past, a couple of boats and cars driving around, but nothing that was too disturbing. No one even looked twice at the van, which was ideal. And overnight the cameras just picked up a couple of cats walking around. So yeah, pretty ideal for a free roadside spot. Today we're going hiking. Woo!
So we have had to turn back. We were headed for a hike today, and Google Maps did a Google Maps special where it thinks it's roads, but actually in reality there was nothing. So we were kind of going up a gravel track for a good few kilometres, and then we hit a bit where there were lots of potholes and it wasn't looking good to get past. We're not in a 4x4 vehicle, it's a van, that's all. And I went up to have a little look. Aidan went, no, other way. I turned around and it was just grass. It looked like a truck or like farming vehicles had been there at some point, but definitely not anything like what we were in at the moment. So now we've got the challenging descent back down before, yeah, trying to figure out what else to do.
First time we've ever had to turn around on a road and come back down. It was just too difficult. There was no way we were getting through. Huge potholes, tight hairpin bends. We only just made it up, and we got to a point that we thought we'll just walk ahead and see. It just turned to grass, and yeah, it was completely inaccessible. So we had to reverse probably 150, 200 meters down this gravel track, just about turn around and then make our way back down. Yeah, it was pretty difficult, but yeah, we gave it a go. But there's no way we're ever making it up in this van. I think there is another way that you can go up, but we're just gonna skip it. We're gonna go to Lidl and then on to the rest of Greece from there.
Little shop completed. It was slightly more expensive here in Greece than when we were in Italy. Could be just because of what I bought. There's a couple of Greek snacks that, I mean, you can't say no to, especially on your first kind of big shop here in Greece. So I spent €80. Still not too bad. £80 is kind of what we would spend on a weekly shop in the UK for the two of us. So yeah, it's kind of normal, if not still slightly less than what we would spend in the UK.
No. So we've done a little bit of a little bakery raid. The problem with Greece is that, well, not the problem, but the thing with Greece is that the alphabet's completely different. So it's not like you can look for what you think tomato might be or what you think meat might be, like everywhere else in Western Europe. The alphabet's completely different, so you have no idea. So we've got some spinach and feta things. Then I've got a cheese and ham twist that I thought was vegetarian. And also a hot dog in a pastry, which I also thought was tomato. So yeah, there's just no way to know, you just have to guess.
So far the roads in Greece have been interesting. On the main highways and stuff, the roads are really nice. Not a lot of road markings, but the roads themselves are really smooth, flat, no holes. But I don't know if it's a Google Maps issue that's taken us through all these more gravel tracks, but it looks like as soon as you, at the moment, if you get off the kind of highway, the roads are gravel, there's lots of loose stones, there's pinhead turns, there's massive potholes on the turns. yeah, it might just be a teething issue with us in Google Maps while we're here, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
So we ended up having a pretty difficult day with not being able to get to a couple spots we wanted to, but we've arrived here, really nice kind of natural oasis to chill out in. We're gonna have a coffee and chill here for the rest of the day. Now we're leaving Lefkada and heading further south in Greece. Keep following for the adventure.